Lahore is a very interesting place, right? I mean, for it to be part of Pakistan is a blip in its history. It's actually not defined by Pakistan. It's defined by itself, right? So it's an ancient city. It has been there long before Pakistan existed. My name is Maroof Syed. I'm the president and CEO of CERP. CERP is really an institution that brings data, economics, and technology together. But my journey, like everybody else, starts with Pakistan, and that's a very important part of my sort of growth and journey. And like anything, वो कहते हैं हर South Asian becomes an engineer and then figures out what they want to do with their lives. So I think spent 20 years in tech industry. Started at Intel, Texas Instruments, did a few startups. Some were an abject failure, some were, commercially successful. And so very fortunate to have gotten to a point where I said, what do I want to do next? And what was important to me was this mix of, economics and data. And because my academic journey also included both engineering and economics. So why Lahore and why, a bunch of us have some connections to Lahore, especially the 5 economists that founded CERP actually were connected to Lahore in one way or the other. But I think there are other reasons. Lahore has an immense culture of social science, actually, that dates back, you can argue centuries, right? So we've had this a culture of thought, poetry, other mechanisms of social commentary, right? कि क्या हो रहा है? What is happening around me? And I think that then there's always been a culture of, education, debates, and that has led to really good places where good human capital is getting generated. And so I think for us, Lahore had all these different things. Really good human capital that we could draw upon, a culture of, social science, thinking, debating, deliberation, and, and then also this muscle memory of governance and a long, proud history, being a city that meant something. And I think the second thing was, can you build, attract global talent? And 2 things to it. One was really leading academics. We have about 104 leading academics from around the world. 5 of them are Nobel laureates. They're working in Pakistan through CERP, right? So they're rationally connected to Lahore. Why? Because we brought the talent, we figured out our long-term policy relationships with government actors. And third was, last year, for example, 3,400 applicants applied for our internship program. So people want to come and they want to understand Pakistan, but it also, I think for Lahore to create that, and it goes beyond CERP as well. It's a great academic density. As I mentioned, LUMS, Lahore School, other institutions. Now we have people from UMT, from other universities, FC, University of Punjab, all of these. So it's not just 1 or 2 places, but rather an ecosystem that's getting fed into. So, our LEAPS program is one of the most cited work globally on education. It's not just Pakistan. In fact, our LEAPS study or our education program is the largest village level education study in the world. Right, we've touched close to 1 million kids in terms of, our research, and it's a portfolio of research, not just one project. It started with LEAPS, and by the way, we've been tracing those kids when they were in 3rd grade to now in labor market. For 16-20 years, imagine you've been tracking survey. Now you can say so much about, this education intervention leads to this labor outcomes. So education program allowed us to get this really amazing talent in Lahore, these young researchers who really believed in the mission that we want to improve educational outcomes and learning outcomes. Yeah, I think that's a very key. You asked about knowledge hub in Lahore and from a knowledge economy. I think Lahore, it really comes down to what we've been talking about, which is human capital. You got to get that right. And I think once that gets right, I think Lahore is in a very unique position, to my mind, in terms of producing global talent. It's not. We've always had this view that our work in Pakistan is not just about Pakistan; it's about the world, right? So build it in Lahore, but for the world, right? And I think that is the kind of conceptual framework that I like to think about. And I think Lahore is producing great tech talent. It's producing good social science talent. We have to also do a better job at engaging them back. Even if people are leaving, that it just doesn't mean that they're leaving, right? If they're going for a PhD. I'll give you a completely not from CERP, but from LUMS, Jahanzeb Khan, who's one of the, he's founders, a very successful founder in the Valley, associated with Slack and so on. You have to re-engage Jahanzeb, right? You have to. Yasser Bashir is a great example of a LUMS alum who went abroad, then came back. Because mavericks don't change systems. You need a network of mavericks, and you need people who can understand your perspective as well. So from my vantage point, Lahore has a very strong lead actually when it comes to creating the right talent on various different disciplines. Physicists, Sabi Anwar at LUMS has done amazing work. Faisal Khan, who's not, Peshawar, he's built a, precision medicine lab. He's doing computational biology. So what I'm saying is, but, Faisal comes to Lahore a lot because Lahore has become this place where real talent exists. It's really, a major city now. Great much better infrastructure than it was. I think university systems, institutions, they are producing this talent for the world. And I think slowly investors are recognizing. They might be more frontier market investors now, but a lot of very big names, Kleiner Perkins invested in Pakistan and Tajir, right? There are lots of really good examples where they're starting to notice. I think Lahore specifically is producing good talent, and they're coming through these institutions like Arbisoft and Conrad Labs, who are investing in their people, not just using them to code. That's an important thing, right? Or CERP on our side of the sector, we're not just using sort of transactional relation. We're building them, and through that you build and project Lahore in a much better way. And investors are starting to take notice, and I hope that it continues.